When you start looking at the way that hoteliers have thought traditionally, it is, I have a fire here, I have a fire here, I have a fire here. And so when you start adding those things up, the ultimate goal is with all of these fires, how can I still maintain the high level of guest experience and high level of customer service? And so when you start really looking at the day-to-day operations and you start looking at the fact that you're mainly in more of a reactive state on a day-to-day basis, and you're really primarily focused on who you should be focused on, which is the guest, then some things kind of take a back seat. And when you start looking at operational visibility in the sense of what that entails, there's front of the house, there's back of the house, there's various components that tie to that. But when you're able to receive or information or any kind of data that can help holistically the whole operation. So again, we do have tools that started in the realm of, having ERP, CRMs, all these kind of things that help front of the house operations. And I think these leaders have been used to seeing those primarily. And now there's certain things that are really starting to happen that allow operational visibility to open up across the entire four walls of the property. Camera technologies, artificial intelligence, and all of those things really play together, right? It's not a segmented approach. And I do believe that in terms of previous to today, having siloed approaches with operational visibility were things that I think inherently just came, but there's new tools that are coming out that'll help these type of individuals who are running these properties, not only to provide them with real-time data at an individual property, it'll provide real-time data across a portfolio of properties. It'll also eliminate break fixes and being more in reactive mode, help you be proactive mode. And so now as these newer technologies that are coming out, being able to provide physical to digital type of transformation along with the artificial intelligence layer wrapped around it, I think you're going to see a lot of beautiful things starting to happen going into the future. I'd like to break this down for anyone that's listening in a couple of different areas. RFID is just one piece of a big puzzle that you're trying to figure out. From a GM's perspective, if you're starting to really think through the process of what this property could look like going in the future, not just for today, but into tomorrow, you want to start thinking about the economies of scales, and you want to start thinking about how all of these technologies play in with one another. RFID is one component, and I know people have heard this word throughout the years. The component that was missing with RFID over the past several years is you didn't have anything that could understand the aggregation and the amount of data in real time. And that data was still mainly more tied to the reactive way that things have always been done. But now when you start looking at AI, you start looking at camera technology, you start looking at spatial intelligence, you start looking at all of these things, we're moving into an era to where you can wrap these components together. And from an information and systems perspective, a hotel in the not too distant future is going to be smart enough to where it understands the staffing, it understands its inventory, it understands what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. And these are the things that get me excited, because now when you start really going back to what I said initially about the guest experience, with the amount of data that you're going to start having and the data points that you're gathering, RFID is one component that can help you from the inventory side of the house that's on the back of the house. If that can talk to the front of the house and they can help you or get more data in terms of forecasting, predictive, and all of these things, then what continues to happen from that point is you start moving from the break fix, you start moving to reactive, you start moving to proactive. And I think those are the things that excite me about the future. And that's why I started Laundris. This is where I'm going to give a shameless plug to Laundris. When you start looking at RFID solutions, and you start looking at the combination of artificial intelligence and where industries are going, there's one thing that I want everyone to realize. Any RFID solution that you decide to move forward with is only going to be as good as the data that it's collecting. It's only going to be as good as the workflows that it knows. And AI is not a magic pill that you can go out there and just say, I'm going to go buy an RFID solution and it's going to work from day one. With Laundris, we follow a 5-step methodology that's taking a thing, connect, collect, learn, and do. That is a 5-step methodology that we follow. And so, whereas today, and over the past several years, people have known, or organizations have known Laundris as an RFID company, we're way bigger than that. However, we understand that everybody's journey is not the same. And so to master RFID, when you talk to a company like Laundris, we spent years understanding the data points that you need to take you to the next level. We understand what's coming in and out. We understand the circulation patterns. We understand when things need to be turned over. We can help you to forecast when things need to be reordered. And so we have aggregated a ton of data, not only from the existing customers that we have, but we aggregated a ton of data from the mistakes that we made over the last several years, to where we could get really good at understanding all the data points necessary. And those data points have been enabled by RFID. So when you think of RFID, think of that as an enabler that allows you to move to the next level. And it's only going to be as good as the workflows and the previous data that it's collected. We have mastered the specific workflow as it relates to commercial laundries, hospitality, and tying that into connected supply chain solutions. But that should excite you, because from that point, you can start bringing in other technologies as a wrapper or a layer. And then that one aspect of the inventory management piece that you may be looking to solve through RFID, you're working with a trusted partner that just didn't come up with the solution wrapped around RFID and artificial intelligence. This is something that we've been progressing with, trying to learn over the past several years, and we've gotten really good at it.